is the Literary Vibe. What's going on, Deb?
Nothing. How you doing?
I am great. And, I'm writing my new book. And in my new book, I have some Christian folks,
Okay.
some pastors,
A little
and
churching.
some parishioners.
People about to get their church on.
They're getting their church on. They're getting their church on. And I have some people that are doing what they should do.
Mm.
And some people that are doing what they should not be doing.
Well, all right.
And some secrets.
Okay.
So, on that thing, because I personally don't want to be pigeonholed into a group where people are saying, oh, well, you wrote about church, so you should have been a Christian. It should have been a Christian fiction.
What is a Christian fiction?
There are certain things in Christian fictions, like I know Christian romance, they actually have where they show the people fall in love. Obviously, there's no sex at all.
And that's not even reality, people. Pastors are people. First ladies are people.
Well,
they have sex.
Well, it's not in the book at all.
Where did the children's come
or
from?
if they do have sex, they'll just say they'll skip over that.
Stop.
They'll go up until the point, and then they'll wake up the next morning.
The lady's pregnant.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not even reality, people.
Well, they do.
I mean, stop trying to put people that talk about church and then talk about sex and get upset because you say it's a Christian fiction. They're a Christian author. They're authors who happen to be Christians who can write about whatever they want to. We're not here to judge them. If the book is good, read it.
Well, I read this one book years ago. A friend of mine gave it to me, and I forgot the name of the book, and I'm happy I did because it was so horrible. And I did say it, and I rarely just tear a book up. But this is basically what the story is about. It was 3 friends. They went out, after church, to brunch or whatever, and one friend was one friend was like evangelist. One was just, the regular sister trying to live right, and one was a new Christian. Okay. So the new Christian, while they were in the say wherever the brunch facility was, say they went to the House of Blues. The new Christian noticed a guy standing by the bar, and he was looking at her, and she was looking at him. Now, I'm going to ask you, if you're out with friends, and you see a guy scoping out one of your girls, and the guy comes to the table to talk to her, what do?
Now shut up.
Oh, my God. I have asked that question of tens of, I wouldn't say hundreds of people, but a lot of people, and everybody had the same response. I was shut up. Well, the author, she didn't feel that way. Because she had the people talk. And ask the guy questions. Well, who are you? Are you saved? Are you woo? Okay. How many people, saved or not, ask a personal question like that when you're meeting someone off the bat?
It's like asking about, are you a virgin?
But I'm saying that's a personal question.
None of your
that's a personal question. You don't have to date the person if they're not or so forth on, but that's not necessarily the personal question.
You're going to ask.
Exactly. Right after you say, what's your name?
Have you been baptized?
Right after you ask the name. So the book.
Have you been full with the Holy Ghost?
The book threw me off, and there were so many things in the book where
there
was so many things in the book to me that were just so unrealistic, just unrealistic. Even one of the characters, how she didn't like one guy, she called him short, she called him ugly, she wasn't attracted to him or not, and the guy she was attracted to, that she actually, he was in church, he was, I think, like a minister or whatever. He had a moment of weakness. He came on to her, tried to get his little feel on while kissing her or whatever, and she lost it. Oh, how dare you ask me that? He was like, okay, I'm sorry. But he did have needs, but he was like, okay, I'm sorry, I disrespected you, whatever. But she ended up pushing him away. He left. Yeah, so when he came back into the picture, she, she was like, oh, I kind of want him back, but he saw her, and then he had another chick, but he came to her wholeheartedly and said, I'm sorry for what I did to you. I really don't want to be with this other girl. I really want to be with you. And he wanted to marry her. She denied him and went with the little ugly short dude. Now I
think I read this book.
I thought to myself, oh my God, who world is that? Because I don't care who you are really not going to date anybody that you are not even a little attracted to. I only know one person. I'm not mentioning any names.
You can tell me too.
No, I can't mention the names.
Okay.
Who somebody actually came to them and said to them that they were not attracted to, and actually said to them, "The Lord told me you was gonna be my husband," and it worked. It didn't work right then. It worked later. But initially, when she said it, we were all like, I told them, make sure you get confirmation that the Lord tell you that.
No, that's like the Lord will tell both of y'all, aren't they?
Yeah. So it was interesting, but I only know one person. I guess it's all right. They going fine, but
they still married?
Yeah, they are actually.
That's good.
But I said, but I only know one person that happened to.
You ain't gonna tell no names.
Oh no, I'm not telling.
You live in California?
I'm not telling any names.
Alabama?
No.
Georgia.
You're never gonna guess, and I'm not telling you. Anyway, so no, they don't. But I'm not telling them. But I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. But yeah, so. But that just goes to the whole thing with like Lutishia Lovely's book. She has a book called Reverend Feelgood.
Oh my!
And the book actually is really good. It has some crazy things.
Sex in the Sanctuary.
I mean, well, it's in that same series. Ooh. So if you read Sex in the Sanctuary and you go through all the books, you'll eventually get to Reverend Feelgood. You don't have to read them in order, but trust me, if you read one of them, you're gonna want to go read the other books. Mm-hmm. But
is it steamy?
Yeah, girl, it is steamy. But I will say, one thing about Reverend Feelgood. It's another story in the book where there's this family. Mm-hmm. You know she had to put them somewhere down south. She made some city up in Texas somewhere. But anyway, this family of women who their whole being of existence is basically to please the pastor. You heard me. Close your mouth. Yes, that's the whole thing. At one point in time, a man of God, a pastor, whatever, is going to come to the family, one of the people in the family, and say, I'm ready for her. And the girl gives her virginity or whatever to the dude. Now, that's a whole nother underlying story in that. So you have this whole group of women who are just trying to
get closer to God.
They're trying to get closer to God. Nothing. But, they have this jealousy because they're like thinking, I'm here for him. Mm-hmm. And they're fighting for that. Mm-hmm. And eventually what in a sense happens, he is one chick that he really wants and feels that God has told him, that is my wife. Mm-hmm. And so all the other women who feel that I should be,
no.
And it's that jealousy and that whatever fighting. But the book is really good because supposedly Reverend Feelgood is so fine and he is very promiscuous. Women in the church are coming after him. They're like, ooh. And so it's that whole thing. Some things you just don't, some things you don't see if you are not, I guess, behind the scenes of church. Mm-hmm. I know, some things I just don't notice because some things I don't pay attention to because I don't care. Mm-hmm. But to be honest, some stuff I just don't care. I didn't see anything, but I know before I was talking to some people, because I am in a choir, who talked about how women would come into the church and how they would sit in certain places. Of course, these were all men who said this because, they were looking at certain things. But anyway, they would notice the woman, she would come and she would sit in a place with her legs open. Who does that?
To any man.
But in church, she's trying to tempt the man of God.
That's Warsaw. And I did say Warsaw. I know there ain't no word. That's Warsaw.
She's intentionally
flapping your eagle leg, flapping your ham hocks open with no drawers on in front of the pastor.
See,
you going to hell?
That's why in a lot of churches,
but you need to repent.
That's exactly why in a lot of churches they don't allow.
That's why the mothers have them skirts.
Yeah, they don't allow women to sit on the front row.
That's why there's little table.
You can't sit in the front row. Or they make sure as soon as you sit down, they come and get you.
They cover you.
Did you say the tablecloth?
You will be covered. The tablecloth. Look at that little tablecloth first. You will be covered. A handkerchief.
Yeah, they come.
But some of them need tablecloth. That's why I said it. It'd be all the way up here, up in your cootie cat, and your little cootie cat.
Did you say cootie cat?
The beaver. So then you got to put that tablecloth across the beaver. Baby be sticking out, looking. Look like a little hairy monster. Ain't got no drawers on. I mean, you can't do that in church. You need it. Yeah, I said tablecloth. Some of them need tablecloth. Need all the way across here. Just be up all the way up high up here, looking like a t-shirt. Y'all need to quit it. Quit it. Stop it. But we did have another topic since you're laughing about the churches. And when you know.
How do you know you're in the wrong church?
Yeah, how you know you're in the wrong church? When you show up and you don't have no lights, you know you're in the wrong church.
In the wrong church. Because my whole thing is, everybody, I understand, everybody feels that God has called you. And you need your own church, your own ministry. But why? And really, I'm like, it's the only black people that feel that?
I think so.
Because white people, if you go to a city, they have like 4 churches.
He lives, Christ Jesus lives today. Can't do it.
They have 4 churches.
Yes.
First Baptist is always what? White.
Right.
It's big. Everybody goes there.
Exactly.
And we have 20 churches on the same block.
Exactly.
Why do we all have to have a church? I mean, a church. God called all of y'all to have church.
Okay.
He might not have called you. He might not have called you if you have to send text messages
and tell people to pay their tithes and give you the bank account number. Really? Who does that?
Who does that? You might not have a church. You might not need a church.
If you don't have water for the people to use the restroom, they got right up to McDonald's.
You might not need a church if you go on vacation and think your congregation is supposed to pay for it.
Ooh, you might not need a church. Because if your church don't have water and they don't have electricity, it looks kind of bad if you've gone off to the Bahamas or to Jamaica or to wherever, and you want to email people and have your friend email people to ask for a rent.
Hello?
At the hotel room.
Hello?
At least we're struggling to pay our own rent.
Hello?
Pay our own gas.
Hello?
Struggling to get to work.
Hello?
But you want us to chip in. That ain't tithing.
That's chipping in.
That ain't no offering either.
That's chipping in.
I mean, you need to get one house first before you run around doing other houses.
Okay. You know you might not need a church, or you're in the wrong church, or you have not been called when half your congregation is walking. You rolling in a Bentley with spinners on it.
You might not need a church if you had building fund for 20 years.
And they ain't even put no carpet in there.
You might not need a church.
Might not need a church.
And you might not need a church if your pastor got a hungry ponytail. And I mean homebred.
Or perm, I'm sorry.
Can't do it.
Right. Or dreadlocks. I mean, no, dreadlocks are fine. But cornrows?
With the Nelly. What was that you were talking about, the Nelly?
Oh, you might not need a church. Well, I went to this one church, and the pastor, he really flipped out. He was telling some stories. Remember back in the day when BET Uncut was on?
Oh, yeah.
Now, I didn't even like BET Uncut, so I really don't want to be hearing that you like BET Uncut as the minister of God in church. You can watch whatever you want to, but some things you need to keep it to yourself. Don't tell me about the tip drill video. And explain what happens in the tip drill video. And for those of you that don't remember what happens in the tip drill video, that's Nelly video that caused many women to be upset because he took a credit card and slid it down the crack of a woman's behind. And the pastor is demonstrating that in church.
Oh, no. What's that got to do with the Lord?
Yeah. You might not want, speaking of that, you might be in the wrong church if the man of God tells you, how many of you are going to give to the work of the Lord? And everybody raise their hand. Well, people raise their hand. And he says, for those of you who aren't, you can just go to hell.
Oh, wow. I would have probably choked. What? You kidding me?
Because that's where you're going to go if you don't get to the work of the Lord.
You got a Bentley.
I'm just saying.
You might
be in the wrong church. Might be in the wrong place.
Well, we've run out of time today. I'm Debbie.
I'm Daphne.
And this is Lyra Advice. Thanks for listening. God bless.